Hey, my name is Jeff Hughes, and I've lived in Loganville for the last 27 years. My wife and I have raised our family here in Loganville. And in 2020, there was a number of different events that kind of went on in my life, starting with the passing of a good close friend and mentor in my business life. We had COVID, of course, and during that time, we went home and we were all quarantined, and I had a little more quiet time on my hands than I was used to. Same time I was reading this book called Leadership by John Maxwell. And in the book, John was talking about, finding your purpose. And I would go on walks, during that time by myself, and I could just feel the Lord's presence and him trying to get my attention. And one day over lunch or dinner, I can't remember exactly, my wife Sabrina, she picked up on the vibe that something was going on with her husband. And she asked me about it, and I told her, and she said, "Well, Jeff, if you could do anything and money wasn't an issue, what would you do?" And I said, "Well, I've always enjoyed coaching and working with young people in our community. I think I know at this point in my life what my strengths are. I'm really good at leadership and encouraging others." And she looked at me and she said, "Jeff, you should figure out what that is and you should do that, whatever that means." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, you have my blessing." And so I just began to pray to God that, if he had something different in store for me, that he would show me and that he would guide me and that he would open a door. And not long after that prayer, some doors started opening and some conversations started happening. I remember I was at a retreat that the Fellowship of Christian Athletes does up at Berry College, which is where I went to school, ironically. And a friend of mine on staff at FCA over lunch asked me, he said, "Jeff, have you ever thought of working with FCA?" I've been involved with FCA for the last 12, 15 years, I guess, as a volunteer. I've been a coach in the community, coaching baseball, coached softball here in our area for years, and I've gone on different trips, mission trips. I've volunteered, coaches clinics and camps with FCA, tried to support a couple of guys who are on staff with FCA, and I shared with him the longer version of this story, and he came and met me at lunch here in Loganville, and we began a conversation about that very idea. That led to me having a conversation with a good friend named April McClendon here in Loganville, and she told me that she had been praying that God would send her someone like me. Long story short, after lots of prayer and counsel with close friends and people around me, I saw that the Lord was leading me into a new direction in my life. And so in about June of this year, I made a commitment that I was going to leave my business life behind and that I was going to make a transition out of a comfort zone, if you will, in my business life, and to take a step of faith and to follow the Lord's calling. In reading the book Leadership by John Maxwell, one of the things he talks about, besides finding your purpose, is comfort zones. And I remember this quote vividly. He said, "A comfort zone is a great place, but nothing grows there." And I remember being in a place back in 2020, early 2020, where I just didn't feel like I was growing. I didn't feel like I was fulfilling my purpose. And I can truly say that by stepping out of my comfort zone and just saying yes to the Lord, that I know that I am headed towards the purpose, the true purpose that God has for my life. So through this process, I've been out talking with folks in the community and really just going to talk to folks that the Lord put on my heart to talk to. And one of those people happened to be Coach Todd Shelnut over at George Walton Academy, and I went and talked to Coach, and I was just sharing with him my story. I didn't really know where the conversation was going to lead to, but during that conversation, he looked at me and he said, "I could really use some help coaching our varsity baseball program." And I looked at him and I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I could use some help with coaching catchers." And I laughed because I'm an old catcher, and I told him that, and he laughed. And I think it's just really interesting that my wife encouraged me to go find out whatever it meant. And now here I am 2 years later into this process, and I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and going to work with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and also have an opportunity to go in to do some coaching on the side, sort of part-time. All I did was said yes, and all of these things have just fallen into place. And I think there's a real, this is something to saying yes and seeing what the Lord can do in your life. I'm currently in the process of collecting or raising my support. The way AFCF works is you create a budget and then you have to go out and build that budget through individual donors, people that want to support the vision that you have. The vision is really simple, to see the world impacted for Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes. The mission is real simple, to lead every coach and athlete into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and his church. And I can't think of anything better to do for the rest of my life than to do that. I understand there's about 21,000 students in this area and over 400 coaches. So we have a lot of work to do, and I'm just real excited to share my story and where we're going. If you'd like to help or find out more information, you can click on the link on this video, or you can shoot me a text or give me a call. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. Really love to talk with you about what we're doing and maybe share a little bit more. And I just want to close in saying that I'm just very thankful for this opportunity that the Lord has given me. I'm so excited about what the future has in store. I'm thankful to my wife, Sabrina, for encouraging me, and all of the friends and folks in the community who have given me affirmation after affirmation. It's just unbelievable. And there's just something really awesome about saying yes to the Lord. And when you do that, letting him lead you and guide you, I just want to encourage everyone that there's no better place to be. And I have found that out. It just took me a little while to get there, and I'm so thankful that I said yes.